which departed player do you think is going to be toughest for Ohio State to replace?
Oh, boy, that's a really interesting question because there's so many of them. There's only 6 total starters back. I think maybe Joey Bosa. You know, he's the kind of guy, he didn't have a huge stats season a year ago, but he just made everybody better. You know, Tyquan Lewis, who's a returning starter at defensive end, actually led Ohio State in sacks last year, but that's because everybody was blocking Joey Bosa. So Tyquan Lewis is going to have a much harder time this year. Sam Hubbard could step in right away there. He seems like a pretty good young player, but, you know, it's not about one guy. It's about 16 guys because they had some standout guys for sure, but the depth of talent that they lost is really kind of astounding.
So has Urban Meyer talked to Doug about just the challenge that this season is going to be because of that? I mean, they do have one of the best players in the Big Ten in J.T. Barrett at quarterback, and when you have that kind of guy at quarterback, you know, you're going to have a chance. But as you mentioned, just the lack of returning starters that they have from last year's team, and the bar is set so high. Has Urban talked about that challenge?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a completely different season. You know, they were a unanimous preseason number 1 last year. They're still the favorite in the Big Ten this year, but there's definitely going to be a different vibe. And on some level, I think they might welcome that. I kind of hate this reverse thinking of like, oh, it's good we're not as good because there's less pressure on us. And it's like, you know, I mean, you guys were the most talented team in college football last year, and you didn't get it done. So I don't want to buy into that too much, but it's going to be a different vibe. And I think on some level, he's as curious as all of us are to see what these guys who are big recruits do now that they have a chance to play.